Hey, hi, hello, everyone. How is everyone doing this lovely day? I am here. I'm bringing you guys a really, really special and really, really funny creator. So I'm excited to get this conversation on the road. I hope everyone's having a good Sunday. I hope it's been chill. I hope it's been sexy. I hope you guys are having a lovely time. I am doing absolutely nothing today. So that's kind of been my day. It's a little boring. I'm just at home cleaning. I think I've said this before in a video too. I'm not a really interesting person. I don't do a lot of stuff on a day-to-day basis. I just chill. Hold on. Let me get the live chat set up on my laptop here. So if you guys are seeing me looking down, that's what I'm doing. Hey, Veganista, what are you up to? Oh, hey, Charlie. I didn't even notice you there. How are you doing? Do I look really yellow? Can someone tell me if I look hecking yellow? Because I swear something about these lights always makes me look like I have jaundice. I don't know why. Hold on. Let me see if I can adjust that a little. Nope, that didn't work. No, that just made me more yellow. Maybe that's a little better. Let me know if you guys think that's better. All right. I think our guest, is our guest here? Not yet. So what is happening? I haven't seen any of, yeah, I look pretty yellow. Yeah, I don't know why it does that, because this is the same lighting setup that I have when I film my videos, but it's like whenever I do a live, I just look like I look gold. I just look gold. I don't know why it does that, but hey, just saying, how you doing, girl? Hold on, I don't know if I've made you, I'm gonna make you a mod, okay? Hold on. There we go. I think I've made you a mod, but I don't really know, so I'm not sure. Hey, Shane, how you doing, dude? There's all of the good people are here today. It's gonna be a chill chat. It's gonna be fun. I'm sure of it. It's gonna be like a fun, cool chat. All right. Don't know what I'm doing, but all right, cool. Have you guys all caught up on Foodie Beauty's latest stuff? I haven't just yet. I'm like 2 lives behind, I'm sure, at this point, but oh my God, there's so much stuff. She puts out so much stuff. Must be amazing not having anything else to do. Can't relate. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's the persona identity palette. Man, this stuff is great. It blends so well. I'm just continuously impressed. Smelly Cat. Oh, that's the best name. I'm not even the hugest fan of Friends. I just really like that song. I find it incredibly funny. Chantel and Amber are hall buddies. Doesn't it? I find it so weird. I'm like, doesn't it overwhelm them when they have this much stuff? I get overwhelmed. If I buy like 4 new things at once, I feel so pressured to use all of it, and I actually feel worse about all of my purchases. Like, I try and not buy stuff as much as I can. Hold on, let me see if I can adjust it just a little bit. Maybe. All right. Oop. Hold on. Let's see. I think our friend is having just a little bit of an issue logging in. Okay, so I think they're in the studio. I'm trying to add a guest. Hold on. Technical difficulties, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not the best at the YouTubes, as you guys know. I don't really know. Okay, yeah. There we go. We have our friend at the stream.
Hello. I'm ridiculous. I didn't even scroll up. It just said, please check your mic. And I'm like, okay. And I'm waiting.
No.
I am so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Trust me. I think I went live like 3 or 4 times, completely privated so no one else could see it because I had no idea what I was doing. And I'm like, if I mess this up, I don't want anyone else to have any evidence of it. Okay. For me.
It's crazy. It's my first time doing this, so
no worries.
Definitely a virgin.
I think I've said it before. I'm technologically illiterate. Like, you have nothing to fear.
It's awful.
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's awful.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm like, I don't know.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for asking and having me.
Of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, do you want to introduce yourself to our friends in the chat in case anyone here is somehow not familiar with your channel?
Absolutely. Well, I am Miah from Miah Time. It's Miah Time is the channel name. Despite popular belief, I am not a parody channel. I do parodies of our girl Chantal, Foodie Beauty, but my character's name is Chanel Mary, sorry, Foodie Booty. But I also do a character called the Duchess, which I've done a couple episodes of, and I do lives. So
I love the dishing with the Duchess series. I think it's
really
entertaining. I find it really entertaining, and I like listening to it in the background while I'm doing things. You do a very good job. And by the way, your Foodie Beauty videos too. I think that's how I came across you when I first came across your channel. You have her mannerisms down pat, my friend. It's impressive. You've done such a good job. Like,
well, thank you.
The hand thing, I never noticed her doing it before. And after you pointed it out, I can't unsee it.
See it. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Exactly.
You did a very good job.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's fun to do. I mean, it really is. It's a blast to do, you know?
Here we go. Let me also add your channel to the chat so that people can go subscribe to you.
Okay. I'm going to actually get into this if I can to see the chat as well.
Yes, go for it. Yeah, that's why I like doing it on my phone because then I can have the chat open here and I'm just 4% away from being 100% blind. I have very bad vision. So I like having the bigger screen here. I can make it large, you know?
Yep, exactly.
That on my phone. So, how has your Saturday been going? Have you been sorry, it's not Saturday, is it? It's Sunday.
It's
How's
Sunday.
Your Sunday been going?
It's been going great. I been very nervous all day doing this. And it just goes back to my theater thing, you know, whenever I get ready for a show, you know, if it was a musical or something, the minute the orchestra started, I'd have to pee and my stomach would be in knots. And, you know, this is something new too for me. So that's even, you know, because I do lives all the time, but this is definitely different.
So I think Charlie was actually the first person who I've ever done a live with, ever in my entire life. And literally for 24 hours beforehand, I was fidgety and nervous. And I told partner, I'm I don't know what I'm doing. And I called my family and I'm hey, nobody call me 24-hour notice. I'm between this time and this time. No one call me. I can't I can't focus on multiple things. I got so stressed. And then I went out. It was super fun because Charlie's super cool. But I had no idea. I'm what if I just mess everything up?
That's what I was thinking. I'm okay, what do I got to do? I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to make sure. I got to be careful. I got to, you know, and it's be quiet. Everybody be quiet. My cat decided to start playing fetch just before we did this. So she's done now. She only does it 3 or 4 times and then we're done. So
I've got neighbors that live, I've got neighbors that live on all sides, but I've got one particular neighbor that likes to play, they have kids. I think they play the oboe. I'm not sure of my instruments, but they always play the oboe at the least opportune time. So you might hear it.
I hear a little bit of oboe.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's background music, you know. It's
sure.
For posterity, you know, just
exactly.
Yeah.
It
builds ambience. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah. Hey, D. Higgins. Hey,
hello,
girl.
D. Hello, Charlie. Hi, baby. I'm looking down so I can see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Just saying hi, baby. All my babies. Love them.
Wait.
Love them.
But yeah, we've just been trying to get stuff done around the house, and it's amazing how we let everything basically sit all the way until it's Sunday evening
Mm-hmm.
on the weekend, and then it's like there's a mountain of stuff to get done.
Stuff.
I have like 4 loads of clean laundry that I have to fold, and I don't know why my brain is just like, avoid it. It'll be better.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It'll be better somehow later. Like more laundry won't accumulate. And so
Sure.
my brain's just like, it's fine. If you don't think about it, it'll go away.
It'll
like,
go away. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that turns into a mountain, and then woo.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Uh-huh.
I have like a little leather, I don't know what it's called, but it goes at the foot of your bed. Normally, mine's sitting against a wall, but it's like to sit on.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's like a little bed
duvet or something. Is that what they call it? Duvet? I don't know.
I'm
not classy at all. So I don't know.
I'm not. I bought it mostly so I could I bought a bunch of really cute pillows because I thought I was fancy, and I wanted to get really adorable pillows to make my bed look nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized I can't sleep on that bed because there's too many pillows.
Too many pillows.
I got a thing on sale from Target, and it's like a little leather square thing. It's supposed to go at the end of your bed. I just use the storage inside of it to store all of my extra pillows. So when people come, they think I'm really fancy.
You're fancy. That's right.
No one has actually been to my house since I bought all those pillows because we moved down. So it's worked. All I'm saying is I'm great at decision making, and it's worked out great for me so far.
There you go. There you go. That's right. You don't have to be fancy to look fancy, you know?
Exactly, right?
That's the way I think it.
So I've heard that you have a cat. Please tell me more about your cat. Fun fact, I love all cats except my mom's cat, who's a demon, but I love all other cats.
Well, I have 2. I have an old man. He's about 12 years old. He'll be 12 years old. Big fur ball. And he just recently, he's been like a grumpy old man for years. And just recently he switched script, and now he's like one of the most lovable cats. Wants to be picked up. Never wanted any of that stuff. Wants to be snuggled all the time. And he's really cute. He's really cute. Everybody thought, oh God, is he gonna die? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think he's okay. And it's been, 6 months or so, and he's loving life, but he just wants to snuggle and cuddle and everything, And then I got little Bella, and she appears once in a while. If I do a live up here or whatever, she'll appear and she'll get on the back of the chair and hang out. And she's the one who wants to play fetch. She likes to play fetch like a dog. So yeah, she's a dog. She's a dog in a cat body. And she is 4 years old, and she's just, her father was a munchkin, so she's about this big. And she doesn't, but the munchkin part of her, I guess, from what I've been told, is that she's about this big, and she's not going to grow anymore. So she's a little bit longer, but she's still a little tiny thing for her age, and she's not going to grow anymore. So she's a little shriek. That's what I call her, a little shriek.
That sounds so cute. I want a cat so bad. Like, partner's allergic. Otherwise, I swear to God, I'd be like a crazy cat lady. I'd fill my house with cats. I love them. All of them except for my parents' cat, which is, as I mentioned, a demon.
The demon.
They recently took her to a vet, and I think they put her on like mood stabilizer, so she's less demonic than she normally is. So I think the mood stabilizers are working, but normally that's just not a very nice cat.
I know. I haven't had them personally, but my sister had one that was the same way, and I'm like, we need an exorcism stat because it's just it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah, I just saying to say on the channel that just saying is saying, but she put in the chat that she wants a munchkin. I really want a munchkin too.
I know.
I've never had the pleasure of like playing with one, but I want one so much.
I got to see pictures of the father, because the father, Bella's father, is the munchkin, and I'm like, it's just little. I'm like, what? I just want one. I want one.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's so cute. Absolutely adorable.
Oh, man. I went to a cat cafe when I went to Japan, and they had oh my God, they're so much fun. They're like heaven for like cat ladies. Like
I bet.
Yeah, I spent like so much time in a cat cafe. The only negative I would say is that they forcibly make you buy a drink. And I don't like the idea of having an open drink in a place filled with that much cat hair.
Cat hair.
Unlike Chantal, like cat hair is not part of my food pyramid.
Of your food group.
Yeah, like I'm not interested in that. It grosses me out a little.
I know. It is definitely any cat hair anywhere near food or on your clothing, if it's in clumps, like we've seen.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's like, You know, you just want to
Yeah,
do this, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
you have to really like I'm just surprised that Chantel hasn't gotten more sicknesses, like illnesses, than she already does have. Like this, most of the stuff that she generally falls victim to, I guess, is stuff that's because of her obesity. But I'm surprised she hasn't gotten more like infections and like
Infections.
weird animal viruses, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because she just has cats
Yeah.
everywhere.
And
She
they're
knows how to cook her
everywhere.
food. They're great. They're lovely, great, clean
Mm-hmm.
animals, but they're
Yeah.
not like free of bacteria. Like I've had a couple
Yeah.
people tell me in my chat, they're like, no, cats are actually really clean. Agreed. The cats are definitely much cleaner than dogs are.
Sure.
But
Absolutely.
that doesn't mean that they can still walk around your food. Like
Right, exactly. And especially, I mean, counters alone is awful, like a clean counter or whatever. But when the food is right there and they're literally like walking, and like I'm like,
yeah.
what is happening?
Yeah.
What is happening?
I swear I've seen more of Chantel's cat's buttholes than I have of any cat. And I've like lived with cats before. I've seen more of that cat's butthole than any other cat. It's impressive. Quite frankly.
It is very impressive cat booty. It is.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
God.
It's I know, it's very cringe. It's very,
it is
very
very
cringe.
and what weirds me out is that even if like she has someone else living with her, right?
Mhm.
I'm just amazed that like Pete also doesn't seem to care. Like to match her level of apathy is actually quite interesting. Like even if like other people in my house didn't care, I guarantee you, like partner would 100% never allows it. Like we have little kids come over sometimes, and even then he's like, if we're cooking food, no kids in the kitchen, right? Like if we have like friends, well, pre-pandemic, if we have like friends, kids coming over, he's like, perfectly fine if they want to play, but don't let them touch the food until they've washed their hands, because they like to go outside and dig in the dirt and play with the rocks and touch the puppies and touch the kittens and all of that stuff. And then they're going to make themselves sick because they don't understand how much you have to wash your hands.
Exactly. And I think I'm almost sure I said this in one of my lives about like that whole situation with the two of them. And I really feel like she's like the master mold of her universe, you know, and nobody dares to cross that, you know, and just by looking at things and because even in other situations, you know, that she's been in or whatever, if it was me and my friends living together, you can bet your sweet butt that one of us would say something.
Oh yeah.
About something, you know what I mean? And I just feel like she's like I said, like the master mold, like almost like the puppet master, you know, that holds those strings with the people around her.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I'm really bad at remembering channel names, so forgive me. But
That's
there's
okay.
a Cherry something, I think it was. She talked about how like Chantel has very manipulative language when she talks with like Pete. And I remember looking at that. I remember just thinking, yeah, that actually really does make sense with her a lot, right? You don't get to being 400 pounds if people around you are checking your behavior. She's good at manipulating people, and she's talked about well, I think it was like in Todd McKinley's video, he mentioned it too, but I don't remember exactly which video it was. But she's talked about how she pretended to commit suicide because her mom wouldn't let her do what she wants.
With the pills.
Yeah. There is, yes. Thank you so much, Afro. Yep. Yes. It's Tiffany Sherry.
Tiffany Sherry, okay.
Sherry Berry is also, she's great too. I love her channel too. But I was thinking of Tiffany Sherry's video. And there is not a single point in my entire life where I could think, oh, I'm not getting my way, so I'm going to threaten to kill myself. And then I'm going to hope that they'll let me do what I want. Like the mindset of that just says to me that she does this kind of shit all the time.
All the time.
A lesser degree. And it's like gotten to the point now where people are just like, it's not worth trying to get into it with her. You know?
Exactly. And I think that's why, you know, when people question, you know, where's her family? Where's her family doing? Why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? And like you said, I think that they've totally just been like, you know what? It's not worth it no more. It's not worth it anymore because she's going to do what she wants to do. She's going to do what she has to do to get to do what she wants to do, you know? And, so we're just going to not even bother with it. And not that they're giving up on her. They're just not going to bother.
Sometimes it's just not worth like the drama. And honestly, the way I think about it is, if I was in that position, I would think to myself, okay, well, if I push it too far, she's gonna do something. She might hurt herself more, especially if you love the person, right?
Oh
I
yeah.
might not engage because I'm scared that they're gonna like hurt themselves. They're gonna do something terrible. Might as well just sort of stay on the background, see if I can like gently manipulate them in the right direction, quote unquote.
Exactly.
Right? Like gently push them in the right direction. I mentioned I have a little sister, and I sometimes take that approach with her. Like it's a very soft touch approach where I'm like, let me see if I can suggest something to her. Because if I push, she's just gonna be like, okay, I'm an adult. I don't want to talk about it. And like,
Exactly.
but my sister's also like a kid, so it's different. I shouldn't have to think the same way about an adult, but
you do in the world that we live in now. You have to, and it's the same way, with me, with my friends or my family, and my family and my friends with toward me too, because if you tell me you need to do this, all hell's gonna break loose. But if you gently suggest things, oh yeah, oh you're right, or we'll see, or whatever, But I think even in this situation where she's at right now, even the slightest suggestion would unfortunately set her off.
Yeah. And I think the difference there is that if a doctor came to me, or like if like my mom came to me, or like I've even had some like people on YouTube be like, hey, maybe do this, or maybe consider doing this, or hey, you should do this, even if they're telling me what to do. I feel like I'm adult enough now to be like, okay, they probably have my best interest at heart. Maybe I should listen, right? Like the understanding that I don't know best in all circumstances in my life. Actually, I very rarely know what's best for me in all circumstances in my life. But so I'm like, okay, I can understand that this person knows more than me, so I'm gonna understand they're probably guiding me in the right direction, and then I'm gonna go forward with that. Right. And I don't think that's true for Chantal, like ever. I don't think she ever looks at a situation and thinks that person knows more, which is how you get to the conclusion that somehow fruit sugar is different from regular sugar actually, and is actually great for diabetes.
Right. Exactly. Or the reason the homemade pizza is better than store-bought pizza, because I can control. It's still at the end of the day, it's still pizza.
Yeah, it's still pizza. It's still pizza. Still eating like a crap ton of carbs, right? Like do you at all keep up with the originator of the Amberverse, Amber?
Amber, I in and out with Amber.
Yeah.
For me, Chantal was always, because I was a follower, I was a supporter of Chantal.
Yeah.
And so Chantal, and because I did enjoy the majority of her story times, when they were, not really sleeping with homeless men, but even that one, to me, that one was, it was fun. It was a good time. It was funny, and it was, and there was that, well, could that have happened? Maybe that did happen. Maybe it didn't happen, and even the original, creepypastas and things like that, not the murder things, because that's too much, but the creepypastas and things like that, they were fun and enjoyable and everything. But with Amber, what I did see, I did enjoy. I can't speak too much about Amber and all the different controversies and things like that, because I haven't watched that stuff. But yeah, she's, what I've seen, it's fun to watch her because she's so predictable. She's gonna say this, or she's gonna do this, or you wait and see what diet product she buys $10,000 worth of, and ends up not using only like one or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But excuse me. For the most part, like I said, I was a Chantal person.
Yeah, and I think Chantal is more entertaining than Amber is.
Yeah.
I'm sure she doesn't mean to be, but because of her messiness, she's more like enjoyable to watch. There's more happening. I think Amber like edits all personality out of her videos as much as she can, right? It's very bland for the most part.
Absolutely. And that's why, like, one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, why are you parroting Chantel? And I keep saying the same thing. It's because it's the answer that I have, but it's how I feel. Is Chantel has many layers to her.
Yeah.
There's many layers to her, and when you look at it from an acting perspective or even a director's perspective or whatever, she's one of the out of all the girls, she's one of the ones that you can base a character around, and you can take it anywhere. You can take it anywhere.
Oh yeah,
because she's given us the story. She's given us, the horrid torrid halls. She's given us, the all these different scenarios that you can kind of twist to make them your own. And it's just her layers, her personal layers are just astounding.
Yeah, and she puts it on display, so it's a little bit more interesting to like watch her, to observe what she's doing and be like, oh wait, she did that one thing. I think
right.
Amber's channel, I mean, I can't say it for a fact, but I genuinely feel like Amber's channel is dying a little bit. Her growth has stagnated. I think she's not getting the views that she used to. And Chantel's channel, her star is kind of on the rise, purely because of the fact that Chantel like generates her own gravity. She's really good at getting people riled up. And like you said, she has those layers. Even now, like I watch some of her videos and I find myself being like, girl, you got this. Like just do the things that you were talking about,
yes.
go see this person, go do this thing. You can do this. And for all that I think she thinks that I'm scum, and that I'm sure she would not believe me if I told her, but I would love to see a redemption arc. Like I would love if she like loses that weight, she works out, she gets real healthy, and like sticks this to the haters, like
exactly.
Just do it to spite me. I would love to see it.
Do it to spite everybody, because the majority, in my opinion, from who I watch, as far as the reaction channels, because there's a lot of them, and there are more coming every day. But the ones that I watch, for the majority, they honestly do care, and they want to see all of them do better. Yeah. And I mean, there are the harsh ones. There are the ones that are a bit too much, but in the long run, I think everybody, at least 98% of the reaction channels, want to see her do better. Yeah. And all of them do better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in return, we all can do better. It's like
absolutely we can. And I think that's the thing that both Chantel and Amber, to a certain degree, fail to see, is that the reason why we're asking them to do better is that we are actively also trying to do better. Like for me, I found a lot of these channels through like workout channels, and then I found Michael B. Petty, his videos through that, and then it sort of like spiraled from there. But I quote unquote found them because I was looking at more like workout stuff, and I'm like, I want to be healthier, right? Yeah. I want to be better. And I really think that there's a lot of people who started following Chantel because of that, because they're like, oh, here is this bigger lady. She's going to try and lose weight. I'm going to work out along with her. Back in the heydays of YouTube, when dinosaurs still roamed the land, I think Philip DeFranco put out this video. He was talking about like losing weight, and he said it was called Project Drop an Olsen Twin. And, yeah, and he was like trying to lose weight, and I remember doing that with him, and I found it so like, it was so, I don't know, I found it great having a community of people, because I don't like sweating in public, so I don't like going to like an actual gym, but I will work out at home. I'll work out like out at home. I'll go for walks. I like doing all of those fun things. I'll go for hikes. I just don't like being in a small room with a bunch of other sweaty people, especially when they have muscles and all I have is my many flabs. Like I feel very uncomfortable. So I don't like doing that. That's why I'm always like, okay, let me find a community online. We're all virtually together, but not physically together, so I don't have to feel so uncomfortable,
Exactly.
That's what I was looking for.
And I know exactly what you feel, or how you feel. I mean, quick story. Many moons ago, I was a pre-K teacher, and I ironically was teaching at the YMCA, which we all know is fitness, all that,
Yeah.
And so I was surrounded by heavenly bodies all the time, and here I am, and I've always been a big person. I've always been I've struggled with my weight ever since I came out the womb, and there's no hiding that, obviously, but it was always. at first was intimidating because even though I wasn't teaching physical fitness, thank goodness, because I couldn't do that, but I was surrounded all the time by people working out, you know. And even when I started doing it myself, one of my best friends and I would do it, but we would wait until everybody was gone, you know, till we knew that the machines were free, you know, and we'd leave work because we both worked together there, and we would leave work, get ready, whatever, and come back later, just because it was just like it was more of a mental thing, but it was better for us. We were able to do what we had to do.
Yeah.
As long as we weren't surrounded by, you know, the muscle people and all that stuff, you know. And yeah, so that's my story about that.
No. Dude, I so feel you, because I used to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would do the exact. I would go at like really early or like late in the evening to the gym when there was like no one there and it was completely deserted. Like my favorite time to work out used to be like early Saturday and Sunday morning, because nobody was there. It was like completely deserted.
Mm-hmm.
And the saddest thing about it to me, even now in retrospect, and especially because I haven't changed in my feelings in that regard, is that every time I've had someone who is already in good shape approach me at the gym, it's always been like a really positive experience. Like I've had people to be like, hey, you're not doing that right. You might hurt yourself. Let me show you.
Right.
You know? Or something like that. Or I think I had one person tell me once, they're like, hey, you're sweating a lot. There's like energy drinks over there. You don't want to pass out.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, thank you. And they've always been really nice. Like, I don't know. I know people have had negative experiences. I myself have never had them. But I can't get the thought out of my head. It's like a personal insecurity. I'm just like, everyone there is in good shape and they're all going to judge me.
They are. Yes, they are. Exactly. No, I know exactly what you mean. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I think I'm just awful. So how did you come by Chantel's channel, by the way?
Oh my. Well, it was in my suggestions. The sordid tale. It was actually in my suggestions. I was flying. I like watching various things on YouTube. I always did, you know. And then I got into like the mukbangs, and I'm just sitting there watching them, and I'm just like, how? And as a big person, you know, like the stereotype is all fat people eat, you know, gorge and do all this stuff, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, how do they do this? How are they possibly doing this? You know. And then I watched that. I think I would say for maybe about a month or two or something like that. And then all of a sudden, these channels like Chantel's came through, and my suggestions, and I clicked on it, and I started watching, and I'm like, oh my god, this is a lot of fun. Yeah. She's a bigger person, having, from what I was watching, sensible meals, but more sensible than we've seen in quite a while. You know, having fun, enjoying it herself, trying it out. You know, can I do this as a YouTuber? You know, whatever. Talking about this, talking about that, you know, and it was enjoyable. And then from that came the reaction channels, again, in my suggestions.
Yeah.
You know, so I started watching Charlie Gold, Yaba, Michael B. Petty, Zachary Michael. Those were my main four. I was watching. I'm just sitting there going, this is amazing. Like this whole, everything about everything is amazing. The Chantel's amazing. The reaction channels are amazing, you know. Excuse me. And then, you know, as the few years have gone by and the more reaction channels come up, you know, everybody has their own style. Yeah. You know what I mean? And some, like, again, like I said, there's some that have come across as very abrasive and, you know, a little bit too much. Yeah. Then you got, you know, your ones that are just like, please lose weight, please, you know. And then you got the ones in the middle, you know, whatever. And it's just, to me, I know that you know, the community's hater nation, but I don't see that within the people. And even with the supporters, yes, again, you know, you got the supporters that are, you know, fat this, hippo that, whatever. But you're always gonna have that, whatever. But then you see the other ones that are also king, like, why can't they just, I say she, but I mean they, you know, Amy and all that people. Why can't they just do it? You know? Yeah. And
I think that's the thing that you made, the comment that you made about Hater Nation is the one that sticks out to me the most, because for all that we get this title, and I jokingly say it, and I'm like, if Chantel identifies me as part of the Hater Nation, which I'm sure if I say anything negative, 100% I'm in the Hater Nation. So I'm like, I might as well own the title, right? When I look at it, I'm like, the most common thing, and I consume a lot of Hater Nation content. Okay, I'm not great with commenting, but I work and I have stuff playing in the background a lot, so I tend to listen to a lot of different videos. And the most common thing, I swear, that I think I've heard anybody in the Hater Nation say is go to therapy.
Go to
right?
therapy.
For the evil bunch of villains that we are, that is the most common thing that we've said is, hey, go to therapy.
Go to therapy.
And it's amazing to me how we get this title of, oh, you guys are all haters. I'm like, yes, I'm awful. Forgive me for wanting her to do better.
To do that, exactly.
But, like her being happier in her mental health is really going to impact my life. You see?
Right.
It's amazing to me.
It is amazing. it really is, and I mean, I know that when I first started, I was immediately given the title of Hater Nation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm doing a parody. I'm not doing a reaction, but because most of the Hater Nation is reaction channels.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so how am I part of Hater Nation? And I guess the only answer that I could figure out, I was never given the answer, but the only answer I could figure out is that I am a fat ass doing a parody of another fat ass. The hypocrisy of that automatically makes me, and in my frame of mind, you can call me a hypocrite.
Yeah.
But I think there would be more hypocrisy if I was as skinny as a pole doing a parody of a fat person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not hypocrisy. Maybe that's not the word I want to use, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you're trying to say.
Or me doing a parody of Logan Paul. You know what I mean? Here's this 6'4" muscle, and here's this 5'11", 800-pound fat ass trying to do Logan Paul. It's not gonna work.
You just have to be the biggest possible douche, and you would come across everyone would be like, oh yeah, that's definitely Logan Paul.
Logan Paul,
nothing
exactly.
To do with body type. I would live for that. I would love to see it.
But see, for me, parodies are, not just about the personality, but it's also about what you see.
Yeah.
For me it is, but that's my personal whatever.
No, I get that. And I really do get what you mean in that everybody gets labeled like Hater Nation, whether they're, I think the way that Chantel sees it is it's very black and white, right? Mm-hmm. You're either 100% in her, core group of quote unquote loyal supporters, in which case you don't ask for money, she's scammed out of you back. You don't say anything negative. You can't say anything constructive. All you have to say is, we love you and yes, queen. And that's it. If you say anything outside of that, then automatically you are a scum and therefore no longer worthy of her attention. You know?
Yeah.
And that's how she's that. I don't understand, because I have friends, IRL, real life friends who have very different thinking than I do, right? I have a couple of friends of mine who are pretty much libertarian, which is Republican without any of the race stuff. They tend to be more socially on the side of Democrats, and then more fiscally Republican.
Sure.
And I remember I was listening to her, and I was listening to this person, I was listening to this friend of mine. It's a couple, really. I'm going to say him and her interchangeably because it's a couple of friends who do this. And the thing I learned is that we can disagree on everything pretty much and still be friends, right?
Right.
As long as at the core of it, they're not disagreeing with human rights. I don't particularly have an issue with them. And more importantly, dissent doesn't mean hatred.
Right.
I have people in my comments all the time, lovely people who'll tell me, hey, I don't think you're right about this, or, I think maybe this is true, or sometimes we're at odds, right? And that's why I tend to even heart comments that are very different than what I personally have said or what I believe, because I'm we can disagree on things and still be friends.
Absolutely.
I wish, oh my God, I would give one of my boobs. I'd give the left one. The left one is in better shape. I'd give my left boob to have Chantel come on a live stream with me and have a civil conversation.
Yes. No, I completely understand that. And I agree with you with hearting the comments and stuff, because like I said before in my lives and everything, I'm up for the conversation. I'm up to keep all my comments up. you're going to get the good with the bad. You're going to get
Yeah,
everything. And you have to be able to handle that. You have to be able to accept it. You have to
exactly.
be able to have, other channels do stuff on you
Yeah.
and what you're saying. And, and that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I just recently, Haydur Nation News Network put me in a little segment of hers.
Okay.
And, and I know she won't mind me saying this, but she twittered me there, the instant message there. And she goes, I hope you don't mind, but I took some digs at you. I said, baby, that's what this is all about. You could do it. And I watched it and I laughed my ass off. I thought it was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious, And you have to be able to let that happen and just, do your thing. Let them do their thing. This person's going to do their thing,
Yeah, exactly. It's part of being on YouTube is understanding that you are going to get a certain amount of backlash, and there's gonna just be a group of people who don't see eye to eye with what you're saying.
Exactly.
And I mean, I have that, right? I have a certain number of people who don't like what I have to say, which is fine. Totally okay. Dislike me, dislike my channel, dislike everything I have to say. That's okay with me.
Sure.
The only thing I'm not going to stand for is like, hey, I really don't agree ethically with doxing. But then also, like, if you're saying any racist crap, like, I'm going to delete your comment so fast, right? Like, I leave everything else other than that. And, do you have this problem? Do you get a lot of weird porn things posted as comments to your channel?
Yes, every time.
Oh, my God.
What is this? I don't know. I mean, I go through, obviously, and remove them, but I have no idea. I have no clue. And it's happening to a lot of people. A lot of people are getting it.
Oh,
and I don't know how to stop it. I'm like, I don't need no pornos in my videos. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah.
Get it out of here.
Exactly. That's exactly. And I go through and I have like the thing blocked where if anybody puts now a link, it's just automatically blocked. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Like Milk Tea saying in the comments too. I can't have them up because people keep putting weird porn related like I don't want someone to click on it and then give themselves like both a computer virus and then like subsequently an actual virus.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not here for that.
No, about that.
It is just right, the Russian porn bots. Yeah, exactly. It's just
is that what it is?
I mean, the avatars are always like very inappropriate, and often I found of Asian, like not Southeast Asian, like Eastern Asian women, which I found I'm like, there's a touch of like fetishization happening there. I did not pronounce that correctly, but
that's okay. That's okay.
Just a tad.
It's just a tad. Yeah. No, absolutely.
A little uncomfortable, but
just a little bit. Yeah, just a little. Nope.
yeah, exactly. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. I don't know what to do about that. I feel like I've actually written like YouTube about it because I'm like, hey, this is y'all's site. You should do something.
You should do something about that. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. The entire response I got was LOL and screw you. So I'm like, all right. Well, they didn't say that, but I read between the lines.
Basically, exactly. Yeah. Well, YouTube's a funny thing. I mean, I've noticed, in my few months that I've been doing this, they pick and choose things a lot. I don't know if it's their scanners or whatever. I did a live one time and I had 24, the Fox show 24 playing in the background, and I got copyright claim for it. And the video was unwatchable or whatever for something that was in the background.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. I don't know. And then other channels they're doing full this, that, and the other, and I don't know. Yeah. It's just
I've had that happen a couple of times where I wanted to put have you ever seen what is the show called now? But it's like I don't know, it's a theme music for a sitcom, which I've never seen. But every time, like, I want to use that music because I'm like, it fits so well here. But then I can't because I tried using it a couple times, and every time it would copyright strike me. And not copyright strike me, copyright claim it. And then I'm like, I got to go through and I have to, like, delete the clip out and then re-export. And it's going to take so many hours.
Much. Mm-hmm.
It's so upsetting.
It really is. And I really feel like, I mean, like when it comes to stuff like that, if you're a creator, and I get the copyright thing, I get it. But if you're a creator, you should be able to use simple things like that.
Yeah.
You know, simple little music clips or, you know, whatever, if it's a theme song or, you
Yeah.
know, to add to your, you know, because they
Yes.
give you a list or whatever. And it's like,
I
well,
agree. Oh, yes. Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's the one.
oh,
And
yes. Okay.
yes, that's the one. I was like thinking, I'm like, enthusiastic, something
Something,
enthusiastic. I
something.
couldn't remember. Yeah. I have a very shit memory, so.
That's okay. Me too. Me too. Trust. I know. I write everything down.
Yeah, me too. I have like, I've gone through multiple notebooks. I'm like looking at it to see if I can grab it without like knocking things over. I can't.
I literally want Amber to send me some of her journals because
Yeah, I
like,
will use them. I
I will
promise I will
use.
write things in.
I promise they will be used.
I mostly stick to the YouTube audio now. Yeah, it makes it easy. Yeah, that's what I'm doing now too. But all the music that YouTube provides you with is really, it's like not easy to find the right sounds like that you want. It's so difficult. Like I'm like, okay, I'm looking for something like, and then I got to the point where I'm just like, okay, now I'm sick of this. Just trying to find music that is like non-copyright claimed. And so I'm just like, I'm just gonna talk.
Yep. Well, it's like when I did the, you know, the 12 days of fatness video, thing, you know, and I went right and I you know, went under the Googles there and found, you know, what's public domain, what is, you know, copyright free, and they had quite a few, you know, and luckily that was one of them. So then I'm like, okay, I'll take that, and then I'll start brainstorming as to what to do and yada yada yada. But it's very difficult. It's very difficult to find the what you really want, you know, when you have an idea in your head, and then try and find something that will fit that idea as far as music and sounds and all that stuff, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Oh, by the way, someone asked me in chat what the other one is called. So the left one, the better one, is called Titus, and then the right one is Andromedon. After, of course, icon Titus Andromedon from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. In case anyone's wondering.
There you go. Hey, got some trivia going on.
Yeah, I mean, you got it. You got to name the girls, you know. Well, I guess the boys in this case, since it's named.
Well,
but whatever.
That's okay. Hey, whatever, you know. I just call mine Tit and Tat, you know. There you go.
That's also perfect names.
You know, whatever. My other boobs here, my fake ones here, I have to come up with some names for them, but.
What are the? I don't know why this popped into my head. What was the name of the two characters from a White Chicks? Like that's what you should name them.
Oh yes.
I can't remember. Like I said, terrible memory. Joke would have landed so much better if I could have remembered the actual names.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna write that down because I have to find out now. White Chicks names. Okay. That was a funny movie. Oh my.
That was a good movie. All right. So question.
Yes.
What if you could? What are your if you could lobby any criticism at the community right now at large? What is your opinion both on this community, but then also the anti-community? Okay. I'm like trying to waggle my eyebrows. I'm not good at it, but
okay. As far as this community goes, I mean, generally, everybody's doing their thing. They're doing, you know, and they're doing what they can, with what they have. I think that there are some channels that they start to go off the rails a little bit, you know, and they'll get into that really that spot where it's like it goes from being you know, transformative and critiquing to cruel, you know, and it's just, and you know, and it's certain ones that, you know, they'll go video after video and be fine, and all of a sudden you get a video and there'll be one or two instances where it's like, whoa, you know, it's off the rails. Yeah,
sometimes you know, strike you the wrong way.
You know, you got OGs that will always be the way that they are, and that's the way that is. You know what I mean? But up and coming ones, recent ones, need to learn from that. You know what I mean? And not necessarily follow that path, but make their own path. And you know, if they want to do videos on the girls, it can be done with a little bit of class, a little bit of empathy at the same time.
Yes.
It's hard. It's hard because I will say, it's hard to be sympathetic or empathetic when the train wreck happens and then the trains get rebuilt and then another train wreck happens. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? And like I said way back, any sympathy for, because I focus on Chantal, any sympathy for her that I had was gone after the Christmas hospital, all that, the C. diff and the liver and the blood clot. And then a few days later, we're smoking, drinking, eating for the New Year's. You know what I mean? And it was just like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
1 minute you're on death's door and we're this. The next minute you're dressed up in your disco ball dress there, smoking the juju, eating and drinking, and all the sympathy left for me, for her,
I feel that.
And as far as, the antis, from what I've seen, it's especially within certain reactions and especially in the supporters, the subscribers, they're doing the same exact thing that they're chastising the reaction channels for doing.
Oh yeah.
To the reaction channels.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, or Haydur Nation gets called hypocrites. Look in the mirror for a minute.
Yeah.
Look in that mirror, and I think that they tend to be a little bit harsher on the reaction channels than they need to be.
Yeah.
But again, what I also say, if it makes sense to anybody, we all serve a purpose for each other.
Yeah.
In this grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, everybody's going to do what they're going to do. And we just need to let it be, Does that make any sense? Does that make sense?
No. I do get what you're trying to
because
say.
There's, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I have to get that thought while I have it. Like lose it. There are some things from each community that I personally enjoy. There are some things from both communities I don't enjoy. And I think that that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's 100% okay.
And I know for a fact I have subscribers, followers, and things that like me. They also like Chantal. They like me. They also like people in Negative Nation. That's fine. That's okay. You can like both.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to, Negative Nation people and the antis, focusing on certain individuals.
Yeah.
Certain circumstances and certain individuals, they need to back off a little bit. Just back it off just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just give it a breath.
I think that this idea that you have to agree with everything else that everyone else in your community is.
You froze on
me. For the antis, at least, I think it's the most damning because there are some of them have actual good points, right? There are some people that are part of the Haydur Nation, quote unquote, that do go a little bit far. Like recently, I think there was a channel that was exposed for saying some really truly horrific things on Kiwi farms.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So
fellatio or something like that.
Yeah.
Fellatio something. No, maybe it's not. I don't know what it was. Anyway,
I'm not even going to attempt. But yes. So I get that. And I'm sure there's going to be other instances of stuff like that. And once more, we are not immune to being just plain and simple, straight up wrong, right?
Right.
I totally admit I've been wrong about stuff in the past. I'm gonna be wrong about stuff in the future.
Sure.
100%. So I both see where they're coming from and also just talking about, talking about us the way that we talk about Chantal and Amber. I think that's fair.
It sure is. It's absolutely fair.
But I think that the place where they get into trouble is that there are some elements that are a part of them that are very they have a lot of like biases that are not based on anything that we're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've had a couple of people pop into my comment section. One which I found hilarious, they were saying that you're a trashy white whatever. And I found that was just, I mean, it was trashy maybe, but white. Like, okay, like that's just insulting. Okay?
It's insulting to me.
Where do I look white to you? But whatever. Like that was the thing. It was like, okay, that's fine. If you don't like me, you don't have to like me. That's okay.
Right.
But if you're attacking me, please attack me for my opinions. And that's the issue that I have is with them supporting, and that's the thing. I think not choosing to speak on something you don't know is one thing, right? And saying, hey, I'm their friend, but I don't co-sign everything they say is one thing. I think it's another when you actively go out of your way to defend stuff that they say, right? And I think it was something like Chantel had said to DC Media Girl, she said, go react to the Holocaust, which is a horrifying thing to say to anyone, let alone a person who is Jewish. And I remember like listening to that, and then I remember listening to like a live stream that they said something about that, and they were saying, well, if you think about it, fat shaming is as bad as the Holocaust. And I was like, okay, the way you could have actually saved this conversation, I understand where Chantel's coming from, but this was maybe not an okay thing to say. When you start trying to defend everything she says and trying to defend everything other antis are saying because you want to have as big a base as possible, that's when you get into trouble. Because a lot of, like Shani for Christ, let's just say the name, right? Like Shani for Christ in particular is an extremely problematic creator. Like Next is another one. They have said and done things that are very like awful, especially aimed towards minorities before. And I'm just like, all you have to do is disavow, even if you're not disavowing the person, like very clear and concisely disavow those actions. And if anyone going forward, you can just say, look, I understand where you're coming from. I don't agree with what they did either. But in trying to like prop them up, you essentially are saying, yeah, I condone and agree with this behavior. Exactly. And that's where you get in trouble. Like, I don't generally tend to go hard on the whole guilt by association thing because you're always going to have people who are going to say and do different things. But like, in this particular case, your circle is very small, and you've been made aware of the myriad of awful things they have said and done. All you have to do is just say, hey, I don't agree with that one thing, and then you would be totally okay.
You'd be okay. Exactly. Yep. Instead of making excuses and exactly. And when it goes back to that particular comment, the uprising, that she did it, but it was, she didn't mean what she said, blah blah blah. Nobody should ever think, first thought should ever be the Holocaust. First of all, I mean, you just don't, it just shouldn't be.
No,
and it should never come out in. The excuse was, well, she didn't know that DC was Jewish. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't have been said at all.
Yeah,
at all.
Would it have been better if the person wasn't Jewish? Like I'm not Jewish. Can you come to me and say, hey, go react to the Holocaust? Is that okay?
Right.
Because as far as I know, like 11 million people died in that. Well, how does it make it okay for you to say that to me?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Like DC being Jewish is like completely irrelevant of the fact that it was just a horrific thing to say. Yeah, I think I agree with Charlie. There is no way Chantel doesn't know that. Like DC's never been particularly shy about it, and she's said it. Oh, sorry, I should probably read the comment out loud of what people are saying. But Chanel's never been shy about it, and she's like said a billion times that she not a billion times, but she said a billion times that she keeps up with the Kardashians, as it were. She knows about these people. She knows about the ins and outs of their lives. That's why she can say about Miss Ceci, oh, she's 47. I did not know that when I watched her live, right?
No, she said she was 60.
Knew.
She said she was 60.
Yeah, well, she said she's 60, and then someone corrected her, like she's not 60. She goes, well, okay, fine, 47. How is that any better? And I'm like, okay, so you knew her exact age. You purposefully did that,
Oh yeah, and there's no doubt. There was never a doubt in my mind that she was checking out the channels and the people, and even if she wasn't, her people are sending her these things.
Yeah,
just like the Twitter stuff. She says she doesn't have a Twitter. I mean, I would assume you'd have to. I don't know if you could go invisible on Twitter or not, but You know, if she doesn't have one, somebody's sending her all these things that are on Twitter, you know, and Twitter's a disaster. I mean, it's Twitter's bad.
It's a hell
It's
site.
bad, you
I
know.
love it, but it's a hell site.
I mean, I enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But there are things on there that are said that are really unacceptable, you know, too.
Yeah.
And you know, but you know damn well that she knows who the majority of Haydur Nation is.
Yeah. No,
You know?
100%. Yeah, and to Milk Tea's point, she said she thought of the word Holocaust because of DC being Jewish. It stuck in her head for that reason. I agree. I don't think that in that moment it was something that she was like, oh, I'm going to say this to drive in the screw deeper. I think that she
Right.
was like, oh, yeah, she's Jewish, and from Jewish, she immediately went to Holocaust.
Holocaust.
But the fact that her brain made that connection, like, there's, I mean, and honestly, I've been a very angry person in the past, right? But I don't think there has ever been a point in my entire life where I've thought, I'm going to say that, I'm going to use that as a line to punctuate how I feel to someone whose family might have experienced something like that. Like, it's never, it's not a thing that occurs to most people because it's an objectively awful thing to say. You know?
Exactly. Yep, that's exactly what that's what I meant. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just... And that's, I guess that's where it comes back to is like finding the empathy for them despite all of that. And like,
right.
Not...
It's so difficult. It's difficult.
Yeah.
It really is, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's exactly. It's like, I have to assess a lot of times, like sometimes I'll watch something that she's doing. And I know my videos are always, I always say I'm going to upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it never happens because I'm always late. But I will like watch something and I think I'm like, okay, I'm not going to film tonight because I just watched through the entire video and I made my notes and all of my notes just say things like, oh my God, go directly to hell. Right. Like if I get online and I start talking, I'm just going to rage.
And yes.
I've worked very hard to not be that kind of angry anymore. And I'm like, I'm not going to, Chantel's not going to do it. Chantel's not going to be the person that's going to make me revert back to like,
to that.
Jets, right? Like she's not going to be the person who I'm going to think back to and be like, yeah, I'm going to, you know, I don't want to be that person anymore. So I'm just not going to react to it right now. I'm going to give myself a day. I'll do the human equivalent of turning it on and off. I'll go take a nap and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yep. And I think, and I think she could learn from that too when she goes on her little lives and does her rants and all that stuff. Just take a breath, you know, and first, well, actually, no, not even take a breath. Just let it go. Just let it go. Don't worry about it.
That honestly, that sometimes that's all you have to do is you just sometimes just have to let it go.
Just let it go.
Feel like it's fine. Stuff will be what it will be, and it's fine. You know, you don't have to. I don't know. You don't have to get so bent out of shape.
No, and like right, and like you know, and like we've talked about, you know, when you do this, when you become a public person, you have to expect all this stuff. You just do.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's going to happen, and you can either roll with the punches, laugh it off, cry it off, whatever you want to do, but know that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 100%. And I found it really funny when she was like threatening, she's like, I'm gonna sue you for slander and defamation. I'm like, girl, do you have any idea what either one of those two mean? Do you understand that slander and defamation are slander and defamation are legal terms?
Legal terms.
Like they are. You can't. They're not just gonna show up in court and be like, "But Your Honor, they were being mean to me, and they're right. The Haydur Nation." And the judge is gonna be like, "All right, send them all to jail.
Send them all. Get them all out of here." Exactly.
Exactly. The best you can hope for is that we'll go to Twitter jail. That's like the most. That's the most you're gonna get here, man. Like.
I know. Yeah. And you know, I don't know. She just needs to just do her thing. And just and really, and I know again, like you know, she says that part of her problem is social media and this, that, and the other. Then you need to get off it, honey. If that's the problem, if you cannot handle it emotionally, mentally, physically, then you need to get off.
Yeah, I think, and that's where, and I mean, she's gonna come back and say something like, well. You know, why should I have to get off social media? I'm like, because it's easier to change. You should have an easier time controlling your own behavior than the behavior of everybody else on the
Exactly. And you're the one having the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
It's causing you grief. It's causing you this.
Yeah.
Then just don't do it. You know? Oh my.
Teddy Bear 37 said, "We don't claim Chantel in Canada." Girl, I feel you. I'm assuming girl, but I can't tell. The icon's tiny and I'm blind. But I feel you. I am also Canadian. Fun fact. I'm a triple threat. I've got 3 different nationalities, and no one's come after me yet, so I guess I'm fine. But yeah, I've spent most of my formative years in Canada. Canada's great, and I agree with you. I feel mildly like offended because she says so many like deeply upsetting things, and we have the stereotype of being Canadian and being like very overly polite. And I'm like, that's like a good stereotype. Don't ruin it for us.
Don't ruin it.
Exactly.
Yep.
You know,
yep,
like I'll travel internationally and I'll put the little like Canadian like flag pin on my backpack and stuff. And people are so nice to you when you're Canadian. They're actively actually meaner when you're American. Just
wow, I mean, Americans are,
I mean, our reputation precedes us, I think.
Yes,
yes. It's just it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah. But sorry, I got distracted. But back to what you were saying about like just getting on social media. Dude, I have said multiple times, I am like self-conscious about certain parts of my body. Like I'm self-conscious about the way my legs look, right? Which is why, fun fact, you've only ever seen me from the waist up. And I know some of the haters are like, yeah, that's why you shoot yourself like that. I'm like, yes, you are correct. That is why I shoot myself like that. I am self-conscious. That's why I don't put it on the internet for people to mock me for.
To mock and see, exactly. Yes.
I know that if someone said something and it really like struck me the wrong way, I might say something back that I don't want to be saying. So I'm just not going to give people that option. It's as easy as that.
It is.
That's all you have to do.
If it's not out there, they don't have a chance to talk about it. So
exactly.
You put things out there, and it's fair game when it's completely fair game.
Yeah, people are gonna have opinions. That's the internet.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, what was it that I read? Yeah, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has.
Everybody got one.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm like, just you're gonna get people's opinions on there, and you could do what Chantel does, which is just moderate the hell out of your comments. But then you're gonna get people going to the reaction channels. It's not a feasible solution, ma'am.
Because what's happened, and I don't know if you've noticed, but that's exactly what's happened. People are the mods, her moderators are like insane on crack or something, and they're any little word they block, and people have come back and said, why was I blocked? Why? I've been with you since the beginning, and you're blocking me.
Dude, her mods are crazy. Her mods
very much so.
And like Karate Joe in particular, Milk Tea has talked about it as well on her channel, and like that's where I first picked it up. He is weird and pushy. Like if I had someone like that always trying to moderate my behavior, like I'm a grown ass woman, right? The only person who is allowed to like moderate and criticize and push me to do things is my mommy, and that is
right. Me. Exactly.
No one else is allowed to like act like. Not even partner does that with me. Like I'm my own woman. Do not treat me like that.
Exactly.
And the way he behaves with her sometimes, it's like he's her dad, like hovering in the background, just being like, okay, time to get up. But I have a watch on this hand. Why am I doing it with the other? Time to get off the internet. Like it's so weird and so pushy.
And possessive and creepy. She might, but I wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, do this, do that, eat this, eat that. Don't talk about this. Don't talk. Who are you? Who are you? I would love for like a reveal to happen where like he all of a sudden is revealed, because I'd love to know what he's all about, like his everything, his life, his background, because it's like no, not so much. And like I tell my mods, I'm like, I might say, yo, let me know, because my lives tend to go like hours and hours and hours and hours, and I'll say, let me know when it's 1 o'clock in the morning or midnight or whatever.
Yeah.
They'll say it's midnight. I said, okay, do you guys want to stop or do you want to keep going? Blah, 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 whatever. But for the most part, I mean, my mods are amazing.
Same.
And they know what to do, and
hers that's are basically just the way that I like to ask my mods too is, first of all, I don't like overburdening people. So I'm not going to tell people to be like, really, really like to go after everybody. I don't want you to like feel stressed about like I'm going through the chat and have to delete everything. Yeah, like Lauren Chris, I just asked racist, homophobic, and basically if you're doxing information, that's the only things that's really going to get me. If you're just critical of me or you don't like me,
You're
that's
fine.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfectly fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I mean, you can
Sure.
be wrong, but like you're entitled to your
You're
opinion.
entitled.
Yeah, and also not everyone has to like me. I
Mm-hmm.
am perfectly okay with that. Most people, in fact, I would say don't like me. I am like an obnoxious person IRL to know, right? I am like I'm a type A personality who tries to be very chill, and none of that is easy to be around. So I can, like 100%. I know who I am. I'm not like under any delusion. I'm also like very particular. I have like all of my forks are organized by size in my drawers. So like, I'm
Oh, okay.
yeah. I'm a little weird like that. So I
Hey.
can understand that I get on people's nerves. That's totally okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not for everyone, and that's fine. You just
Yep.
you know
Exactly. And
that's all
you
right.
have to realize,
Yes.
I'm not everybody's cup of tea either.
Yeah, and
You know,
that's fine.
that's
You
fine.
can
That's
tell
fine.
me you don't like me too. It's not the only people who I think if they came out and they told me that they don't like me are some of my YouTube friends at this point because I'm like, oh, you don't like me, and then I'll get sad. And
Right.
like my family, if my family didn't like me, I'd be pretty sad about that.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I'm like, it's okay. I don't know. I don't know you. You don't have to like me. I don't know you, and I might
No.
not like you either. So it's all cool.
And you carry, and that attitude. As far as for me, I carry it from real life because I don't give a rat's
Yeah,
ass if you like me or not. I really don't care.
yeah,
I never did. I never will.
yeah,
And I'm me. This is what I have to say. And if you don't like it, then I'm sorry.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
That's fine. Yeah, that's how I feel.
So
Hold on. Someone made a comment. They said, I don't mean to speculate, but it seems like Karate Joe has a monetary control over her, the way she reacts to what he says. I don't know if it's exactly monetary control, but I wouldn't be surprised if she feels pressure to behave a certain way with him because he gives her a lot of super chats. I feel that's the same incentive that she has when it comes to Shanny for Christ, where she feels the need to justify it because they give her money.
mm-hmm.
And I can't believe I'm saying this, but girl, take a book out of ALR's page, right? Like she had that live where someone gave her money and she's like, thank you for the money, but you're racist. And then she's like, moving
And
on
then
from that.
moving on. Mm-hmm.
That's all you have to do, right?
Yep.
And I think she thinks that she has to placate them, otherwise they won't give her money, which
Right.
I don't know how I feel about that because she jumped onto OnlyFans and she made $1,000. If she puts in a little bit more effort there, she could have continued making a lot of money there, and
Oh
then maybe
my.
she wouldn't need to behave this way with people who are giving her money through super chats, right?
Exactly. Oh.
That's
Mm-hmm.
one of the benefits that I have is I think I had a recent video that wasn't monetized. I was like, oh, why? But it didn't like hurt my feelings because or it didn't affect me in any kind of particular way because I'm like, I'm not worried about that. If I
Right.
don't get money from something, I'm okay with not getting money from something
Right.
because I'm not counting on this to pay my bills. I think that's the real place where Chantal gets into a lot of trouble. Unlike Amber, I don't think she's making a lot to put away, and she's eating everything that she has left over at the end of paying her expenses at the end of the month. So like, if she isn't pulling in the views, if she isn't placating her like audience, even problematic ones, I don't think she's gonna keep getting the Snapchats and the super chats and the whatnots, and then she might have issues, you know?
Exactly. And I mean, and not just the eating the money, but she spends it on everything. She buys all these things just to buy it.
Oh yeah.
These contraptions and these, the clothing. I know what she's doing. In my opinion, I know what she's doing when she buys these clothes.
Yeah.
But you know, you buy the clothes we never see again. One or two shirts we might see.
Yeah.
But other than that, we don't see the stuff again, and all that builds up, and it's like, honey, come on now.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, don't forget Chantal makes enough to take us all to court. Yeah, I would. Oh my God, would I love to see a court case? I want to see. I want her to go up there, and I want Chantal to present all the evidence that she has that we are all mean, awful people saying defamatory things. And then all I would have to do is pull up a video of her saying, go react to the Holocaust and say, okay, I called her anti-Semitic because she said this to a Jewish person. Was I wrong, Your Honor? And then
Right.
I want it. I know that no one will win in this situation because ultimately it's just going to be a financial drain. But there's a part of me, the troll part of my brain that just goes, give
I want to
it
see
to
it.
me.
Yes.
Yes,
Give it to me. Yeah.
exactly. I
Hmm.
was like, come
Yep.
on.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
I
You
want it.
know.
I want it so much.
Christmas for me.
I know exactly. It was like, oh, the entertainment.
Oh my gosh.
I've been trapped indoors for so long now.
I
This is
know.
my form of. I don't even watch that much real TV, and
No.
I binged watched Bridgerton, and now I have nothing to do
Me
with my
too.
life.
Me too. It's over, and I'm like, what? Me too. I finally watched it, and I'm like, okay, well now what?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Two things that surprised me about Bridgerton. Well, I already put onto the internet that for a colorblind casting show, it was weirdly like colorist in regards to its cast.
Mhm.
But then secondarily, everyone really hyped up the sex in that show. There really wasn't as much sex as I'd been thinking. And I was like weirdly disappointed. I was like, come on, this is like Scandal Light. There should have been a lot more sex.
A
Like
lot more.
coming from Shonda Rhimes.
Well, that's what I thought too, because I mean they were like, oh, this the sex and stuff, and I'm like, okay, so I'm watching it, and I'm like, okay, so okay, I mean,
Yeah, that was my feeling. I'm like, oh, that's it. Oh, okay, all right then.
okay, well that's great. I want to see more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to season 2.
me too.
I want the main Simon's boxer friend to come back because he is
Mm-hmm.
beautiful gentleman. He's such a beautiful gentleman. Oh my god.
Very much so.
Yes.
Agreed.
His face makes me happy. And anyway, moving on from that.
Anyway.
Yeah, now that I've made this uncomfortable for everyone to watch.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I do it all
like
the
my
time,
face
so it's
going, like, a
okay.
little bit red. He's a very handsome man. What can I say?
Yes, very handsome.
I'm not like very I'm not very optimistic. I'm sorry. I'm just like totally going like back to the conversation we're having.
It's okay.
I'm not very optimistic that even with everything that Chantel has said about her health, I don't know if she's ever actually going to change anything. I feel like I don't know. I worry that she might be stuck in this cycle. I worry that nothing short of actual like full blown multiple like week long hospitalization is gonna make her change her tune, if anything. Like I really worry that even now, because she's saying that she's like, I really have to change, I really have to do things, but she's not really. She doesn't seem to be taking it to heart. People are telling her, I'm like, hey, you can't have carbs when you're diabetic, and she's like, well, I've heard differently. And I'm like,
yeah, no. Have you really?
yeah.
No. Yeah.
Have you, or did someone just say something like what I think happened with the fruits, at least, is her doctor said fruits are better for you than just having plain sugar, to which she interpreted as, yes, fruits are fine when you're diabetic. Because she does that very selective, like the hearing thing, that she only listens to like part of everything.
Part of the thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, sorry, but Wild Rose just said after watching her put maple syrup and granola in her yogurt and raspberries, I have no hope at all.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? Like, yeah, but these are homemade carbs. They're natural.
They're natural.
Exactly, right? They all
natural.
of a sudden magically her pancreas is healed. It was just protesting all of the takeout. Don't you know that's how diabetes works?
That's how it works. Yeah. And and I go back again. I go back to December with that whole hospital ER visit, and I find out that I have C. diff, and I have my what was it, the liver disease,
liver
and
disease.
Another blood clot. And if that right there wasn't enough to change, I really, really don't think anything will, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate, because to me that would have been rock bottom.
Yeah. I think one of my moments where I was like, oh, I gotta get a handle on this was I'd gone on a girls' day with my friends, and we were walking around downtown, and they were all in these like cute ass heels and like skinny jeans, and they looked absolutely beautiful. And then there was me wearing what I considered to be my frumpiest clothes, and I was in flat shoes because my feet would hurt too much walking around in heels.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized they looked beautiful, and more than that, they looked comfortable. They were
Yeah,
comfortable and
comfortable.
easy in their own skin, and they didn't have the discomfort that I was feeling because I didn't like the way I felt, less than the way
Mm-hmm.
I looked. Right?
Right.
I couldn't walk in my like cutest heels. I couldn't like do a lot of, and then I had another moment where I considered, I was like, oh, should I get, what was it? Oh, booth. We were getting into a booth at a restaurant, and I remember thinking, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be a little bit of a tight fit. I don't know if I'm
Yep.
comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm privileged enough that I can say I've never had the experience of not fitting in a booth,
Mm-hmm.
but just the thought that I might not feel comfortable in a space designed for average bodies made me go, I
got something to do. Mm-hmm.
you know, like it 100%. I've said this multiple times too, but I don't genuinely tend to buy a lot of stuff for myself outside of like makeup, but I don't buy a lot of really nice things. I don't own a lot of very nice things. I am a pretty frugal person. The one place where I spend my money is travel. If there ever came a point where I couldn't fit into a plane seat, that would be the end. Like, forget my health. Like, if I couldn't do the one thing I wanted to with my life, I would just be like, I can't. Like, no, I'm just gonna stop eating until I lose all of the weight. Right?
Right.
Like, nothing is worth more to me than that. And the fact that even her mobility doesn't mean that much to her surprises and saddens me. Like,
Yeah. It is. It does surprise, and it's very sad because without mobility, what do we have?
yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, honestly,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, and I mean, yes, there's things designed for people that don't have mobility, but not every place, not everything. You can't do, you can't do the things that you would want to do. She talks about traveling. She'd never be able to travel.
No, she
Never
wouldn't.
be able to.
I mean, I just thinking about not even the plane ride itself. Can Chantel get all the way through like the TSA? Can she walk through that entire place, pick up her own luggage, put it onto the belt, remove her own shoes? Can she do all of that? Can she get through that and then bend down, put her shoes back on, pick up, like, just not anything else? Can she do that? Because I
Right.
really doubt it at this point. I think if she takes her shoes off, I don't think she'll be able to put them back on.
Right.
And that is the saddest part to me. That's why, like, as mad as she makes me, I'll think about something like that. And I think of myself in her position, and it makes me so sad for her.
Yeah.
But the fact that I feel that way and she doesn't is like, it feels like a slap in the face. Like, cool, thanks for your feelings. I don't care. Like,
I don't
want
care.
pizza more than I want to do anything else. And that's just,
Mm-hmm.
it's depressing.
It is. It's very depressing, and even speaking, again, as a bigger person, who does enjoy food very much so.
Same.
If it came to that choice, whether to eat or move, I would choose to move.
Yeah.
There's so much I want to do.
Yeah.
And I still have life left in me. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's still a future, and to do those things, I would have to move. I would have to be mobile. I would have to, get from point A to B to C to D back to A, type of thing.
Yeah.
And no food, even my beloved pizza, which I've already told everybody I'm obsessed with, is worth that.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
You know,
There's no amount of food in the world that would be enough for me to sacrifice my want for travel. Like, like,
yes.
there's nothing, like, I'm sorry, I was just reading through the chat and some people were saying how even she would need 2 tickets, and even then it might not be comfortable, or she might have to pay first class. When I'd gone to Europe, I found just there was one day for a couple of hours, it was $440 tickets flying to London. 400. It was so cheap. Those were uncomfortable, tight as hell, skinny ass seats, right? Like, even like, I'm nowhere near her weight, and even I had difficulty fitting into them. And I think to myself, and I'm like, I could do that because I could buy those like incredibly well priced tickets because I didn't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry, can I buy 2 tickets? Can I like,
Right.
will they be able to accommodate me if I'm big? Or do you think they have first class? Like you don't get, there's no such thing as like a discounted first class seat, right? Like
Right.
it's gonna cost you a ton of money. And something that cost me $440 is probably gonna end up costing her like $1,300. And then all of a sudden it's so much less, affordable.
Affordable.
What are you gonna do? Like, say if you're going to like London or you're going to Tokyo, taking cabs there is so expensive. Oh my god. Like, and she's not wealthy, and that's not to say she doesn't have money, but she's not exactly like rolling in the dough here, right? Like,
right.
I don't know. It just
No,
makes
I
me
know
sad. It makes me sad. It makes me feel bad for her.
I know, and you know, like I said, I mean, I did lose all sympathy for her, but at the same time, like you said, you put yourself in that position, and you do still feel a little sad. You know, there's that. Come on, girl, you can do this. Why the hell are you not doing? You know,
Yeah.
you want this, you want that in life. Then you need to go get it, and to get it, you need to do what you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
And the YouTube, the money, the attention is not worth anything if you can't move, if you can't breathe, if you can't live. It's just not.
That's exactly it. And her fallback is always that, there's not enough help. And I've been through the Canadian healthcare system. My mom has had a lot of experience with it. It might not be perfect, of course, but it's not terrible. There is help available, especially for someone who's in dire straits like she is, like when it comes to her mental health. She could definitely be doing a lot more. But like, what did she say? I mixed up my schedule. Girl, what are you doing that you mix it up with? What else did you have to eat? Did you like be like, oh, well, I have to eat lunch at this time. I guess I can't go to therapy today. Like,
right. Well, that $50 planner that she bought, where the hell that at?
Yeah, right? Like, what? I don't understand. Like, I could understand if it was like somebody, she worked a full-time job, right? And she's like, oh, I double scheduled a meeting during the time. That's happened to me a couple times where I'll like double book myself and I'm like, crap. But you don't have that issue. You can't double book yourself if you don't even have a thing to do for the entire day. And we know she doesn't, right? We've seen her sit on lives for what, like 4 or 5 hours at like one time, 6, 8 hours at a time. I think it was the longest one she's ever done has been 8 hours. I've seen her for a full ass work day. I know she doesn't have stuff going on.
Right. In all the hours too. You know, you got 8 or 6 hours starting at 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever it is. You know,
exactly.
And
like I can't afford therapy more than like once a month. That's my affordability here. But like, she could do so much. If I didn't have to worry about paying it, I would get therapy like every day. If I could afford it, I'd get it every day. But even if she can't do that, once a week for someone in her situation wouldn't be bad. And like, I think she thinks she's just going to have infinite time. You're going to get to a point where no amount of therapy is going to go fast enough for you to be able to fix your problems in the time required before they're going to do permanent lasting damage. And that's where she has reached. There is nothing, I don't think there's anything that she can do right now for her body that's going to get it back to where it should be. Like, I don't even if she lost weight the way like Jordan Shranks or that, Obese to Beast have, I don't think even if she lost all that weight, she would ever get to like that, like quote unquote healthy threshold again. I think it's too far gone. I think the damage is just done.
Right. And there would definitely not be 100% health again. Yeah. No, there's too much damage. Yeah.
There's too much damage. And I don't know. I think it was Smokey Stephen Mark. I think I quote a lot of other YouTubers, especially like people I like, but I like listening to others' opinions on this matter. But they were talking about how like every time she cycles, she has another diagnosis. Every time she cycles, she's got another issue.
Yeah, there's always something happening, and then we're right back to the beginning, and then we're cycling again, and you can almost see it. You can't really determine exactly when things are going to happen, because sometimes the cycles are long, sometimes they're short.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
But there's always a diagnosis, and I also, this last one here, I also feel like it was semi a distraction from the OnlyFans fiasco.
Oh yeah, jeez.
You know, because
fiasco.
that got blown up, and kind of to do a distraction from that, you know, I was at the ER, but I'm fine now. But I was at the ER because I couldn't breathe and something else was going on, you know. And but the next day I'm fine. I'm good because everything's been distracted over here, you know.
Yeah, you can't be mad at a sick person, right?
Right. You know,
it's just I don't know. I'm not. I did not like the way that she treated her audience there. That was one of the things that I saw that really like ticked me off, because I'm like, okay, understand that the people, like, there are a lot of haters, right? Myself included, quote unquote, but there's a lot of people who talk about you and who dislike you who are not automatically going to go and subscribe and give you money. Most people who are going to go and actively pay to see extra content from you are people who like you
and who want to see that.
People who are fans. And here you are taking advantage of their generosity.
Yeah. And I said it, and I had said it almost the same thing. And I said that, you know, I'm sorry that she thinks that the majority of people that were subscribed to the OnlyFans were trolls and this and that, but they're not. Yeah. They're the ones that are doing it are the ones that, you know, that wanted to see the quote unquote titties and farts, or boobs and farts, or nipples and farts, or whatever she said. I can't remember exactly what it was. But
yeah, nipples and farts.
Nipples and farts.
Oh God, the images that put in my head.
You know, and I can understand where she, you know, if that was the case, where she's coming from there, because she stated this is what's going to be offered to you.
Yeah.
You know, but on the flip side, you know damn well that those people wanted even more than just nipples and farts. They wanted to see a lot more, you know, and it's too much.
Yeah.
But again, you know, it's her OnlyFans. So do what you want to do. If they don't like it, they won't continue subscribing.
Yeah. I think it's as easy as just like she said her limit. She's like, I don't want to do this. There's always going to be people who are not going to respect your boundaries when it comes to OnlyFans, but then you don't have to talk to them. Just be like, hey, I'm not going to do that. And if they push again, just block them. Right?
I'm done.
It's as simple as that. But I just didn't like, even if you change your mind, she is well within her right to change her mind. She doesn't have to do OnlyFans.
No, absolutely.
But then if you promised a month worth of content, you need to put a month worth of content out, or you need to refund people their money. The fact that it took so much for her to actually start refunding people their money, and even then it was only people who reached out to her. She didn't just give one, right?
Right.
I really, it really rubbed me the wrong way. I really don't like that. Hold on. Someone said in the comments, Casey Mate said, she needs a whole team to support her. Yes, I would very much agree. She needs a doctor. She needs a therapist, and then she needs a dietitian. And all three of these people need to talk to each other, because I'm not sure what was happening with her previous professionals. I don't think they were talking to each other, or I think that she's only partially hearing what they're saying, because you can do intuitive eating if that's what your like therapist and doctor and dietitian all agree on together. But if your doctor is saying, hey, you need to take like immediate action to deal with your liver problems, and then your therapist is saying you need like X, Y, and Z to deal with your deeper emotional issue, and your dietitian is saying do emotional eating, do intuitive eating, it's going to be fine. That doesn't work. If they're not talking to each other, then they can't come up with a cohesive plan that addresses all
the issues
of your personhood, right? Like I don't know. It was
and like that whole thing to me too, it just didn't make sense. So I didn't research intuitive eating. I just whatever. I just went with the flow. But I couldn't imagine even if they were talking to each other, I couldn't imagine anybody in the medical field being a therapist or a dietitian that would say, yes, you're X amount of pounds. Intuitive eating is wonderful for you.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine somebody saying that.
I couldn't. That's the thing that I found very odd too. When she's like, "Yeah, we're doing intuitive eating to work on my problems," and I remember thinking to myself, "I'm like, I cannot think of a single situation in which somebody who is this overweight with this many food-related health problems, right? Like she can't digest fat. She shouldn't be having carbs. So I can't imagine somebody coming to me and being like, I have X, Y, and Z health issues, and I also have a binge eating disorder, and the person goes, oh yeah, fuck your health.
Right.
You know, go buck wild, eat what you want. Like,
which one?
It seems negligent to me.
Yeah,
Like, it just seems so negligent.
Right. Eat what you want, however much you want. If you have a craving.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
My goodness, if that's the case, she craves everything. So that's even more problematic to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if she actually does crave it, you know what I'm saying? But she says, I crave, you know, this, I crave that, I crave this, I crave that. You know, that's even more problematic to me, you know, doing intuitive eating.
I think for her, crave is just like another word. It's like, oh, I wanted to eat it. But if she says, I wanted to do this thing, people are going to be like, well, you can control that.
Right.
But craving, I can't control. Like, I'm
satisfy it.
Exactly. I'm a slave to my craving, don't you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so then she can just, and then it like deflects responsibility.
Someone
made a comment that I thought, yeah. So Fairy Face Jace, she says she can't eat intuitively unless she addresses the emotional issues she's trying to eat away. That is 100% true. And if I could force Chantel into caring about her mental health, I would, but I can't. No one can do that.
No one can do that. No. And I think there's deep-seated things that she has not told anybody, shared with the world.
Oh no,
deep-seated things that has caused all this stuff. Because I think somebody, I can't remember who said it, but they pointed out that, you know, she seems like she's trapped at the age of like 15 or 16 years old. Yeah. You know, around that area, and the more when they said, I can't remember who the hell said it, but anyway, doesn't matter. The more when I watch things and I keep that in my head, I'm thinking, holy shit. Oh my gosh. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just the actions and the responses and the attitude and everything reminds me of a teenager.
Yeah. She's got arrested development, 100%. Someone said it earlier in the chat, like right at the beginning, but she's got arrested development. She is stuck perpetually at 17. I think part of that is just she doesn't want to think about the way that she is now. She wants to think to when she was young and she had her entire life ahead of her and her health was great and all of that. Mm-hmm. But it's the same thing that food, right? It's just escapism. You're trying to pretend that you're in a different place and time that you are now, that you don't have these issues. You're just doing yourself damage.
Exactly.
Oh my God. This lady, she makes me both sad and frustrated, and I like feel for her, but
and you know, and the question is, you know, a lot of people ask, you know, reaction channels and stuff is, you know, why do you care? Well, you know, it's called being human, I think.
Yeah.
You know, because even though we don't know her from Adam, you still have empathy for people.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. And you want to see people succeed, you know, and as much of a dumpster fire that her personality is, you know, and as much as she can be a complete and total DB completely, you know, she's still somebody's daughter, she's still somebody's sister, she's still, you know, and you got to think even beyond her. You got to think about her family. Like, what would happen to her? You know, what would her family go through if something happened to her, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you know? And
that's exactly how I feel about it too. I mean, we don't know anything about her family, but like, especially for her mom, there is not a single thing in the world that I can think that is as awful as having to bury your child. You know? Yep. So no one deserves that.
No, nobody. Not a bit. Nope.
But thank you. Okay, I'm gonna end the stream because it's been about an hour. Jeez.
Oh my God. Girl, when I'm on live, I'm telling you, mine goes 6, 7, 8 hours sometimes. Just saying.
I wish I had continuous 6, 7 hours to do anything in my life anymore. I swear I'm like dying at work. I find myself like even sleep sometimes. I like wake up in the middle of the night. I was like, oh, if I don't go back to sleep, I can accomplish this right now.
Mm-hmm. That's why I start mine like 9 or 10 at night. And because I know it's going to be more than 4 hours. So I'm like, all right. Because during the day, forget it. No.
But your lives are entertaining. I am not like honestly, if I didn't have you here even 45 minutes of a live with me, I'd be boring. I'm like, what do I talk about now? I don't have words. I don't know what to say.
Oh my
I
gosh,
can do
you
like
sure?
a
Because I
dramatic
thought
the Constitution if someone likes, but like I don't think that's fun.
I thought I was awful tonight, but that's good. I'm glad.
Great, you were great. Thank you so much for coming on here.
Thank you
guys
for
all
having
for
me.
being in the chat.
Yes, thank you, chat friends. I see you all. Hello, hello.
You guys were great. You've been great. Let's do this again sometimes.
Yes, I would love to. I would love to. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm a little jealous of the snow I saw behind you.
Ugh, you can have it.
I have like weird temperature control issues. I'm hot indoors all day, and then I'm sad outside all day because it's like freezing outside. And it's like hot in my house, but at the same time, we don't have any snow anymore. So I'm like, I like snow. I want to throw snowballs at partner. I
would enjoy it as far as where I am right now. I would enjoy it if it was Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then it went away. We're good. That's it.
When I lived on the East Coast, that was often my thought too. Because
exactly.
Whatever else you want to say about rain, at least you don't have to shovel it.
True.
Yeah.
True story. True story, honey.
All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
For being here.
Yes.
We'll again soon. Please go and subscribe. I've linked your channel. I think both.
Oh,
did I put it in the chat? Can someone put it in the chat again for me? I've linked it down in my description box. Please go subscribe to Miah Time. She's fantastic. He's fantastic. I'm sorry. I told you.
Don't matter.
He's fantastic. I'm looking forward to another episode of Dishing with the Duchess.
Oh,
I really enjoyed the last one.
Yes, darling.
Yeah, that will be it for me. My entire brain is going, and end it like the way you do and be like peace. And I'm like, this is alive. It's not. Same rules don't apply here.
Okay.
Lawless land.
Lawless land. Well, thank you for having me, honey. I really enjoyed myself. Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for turning out. And we'll talk to you soon.
All righty. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, honey.